What a groovy lick. Okay, so hello, year 7. Little bit of feedback on the wonderful writing that people did to round out our Lord of the Flies unit. So same drill as always, I'll just reiterate. Make a copy of the document, then underneath the piece of text that you wrote last time, write the answer again in blue. It's really good if you copy the comments and suggestions over so that you can see things that I was suggesting whilst you're writing. If you want, you could just write straight underneath the original piece that you did and then copy it afterwards. That works as well. But then once you've finished, upload it in today's task with the new piece. Okay, so moving on, upload it of course here. I have added a short video that will be helpful for anyone who is using maybe a phone or a tablet to work on their answers. Just watch that video if you are one of those people, it'll be helpful. Okay, so back to the actual answers that you wrote. I just wanted to go over a few things that some people wrote about, a few people maybe got a tiny bit wrong, or maybe didn't quite explore as much as I thought they would. So, the conch's destruction is particularly sad as Piggy. He puts so much faith in it, he's holding it out there like a talisman, but it's ultimately fragile, as it's called in the text. It's just a shell that could easily be smashed by someone who was violent. We've seen around the world in the last few days sort of disorder breaking out, but that all came from the fact that people felt like they were actually very fragile, like the order around them was broken because of structural racism. So in the same way, Piggy, he's placed so much hope that the system will be able to protect him, but ultimately, a boulder rushing down a hill is a lot stronger than a shell. The second point, figurative language, I think some of you already know what this is, but I just wanted to make it really clear that figurative language is when a writer uses simile or metaphors. So, for example, when he's said to be like a pig who's being killed, he's not actually a pig that's being killed, that's figurative language. Also that moment when the sea breathes in and out, that's also figurative language. And in those moments we could be thinking, why do you think the writer wanted to compare this thing with this thing? Why did they want to make us think of something natural, like the sea has some sort of life in the way that it reclaims Piggy? So that's why we talk about figurative language, because a writer's trying to inspire ideas in our head. And then finally, the nameless authority that Roger gets is because he has just become a killer. There's this sort of respect that people have had for him for a while, a sort of wariness, but now that he's a killer, they're very scared. Okay, so again, I just thought I would reiterate, this was something I said last time. A few of us are still not quite finding a quote that backs up all of our answers. It makes it so much stronger, your answer, and it allows you to zoom in on those words. The best answers are the ones where they embed a quote into their sentence and say, this makes us think, or the phrase da-da-da makes us think of da-da-da. I'll show you a few examples in a second. So, this is Sophia's answer. It's really good. At last, Golding uses the conch shell being broken at the moment where Piggy dies as a symbol representing the end of order and civilized conditioning. There's some of that vocab that we learnt before. When Golding makes the comparison between the talisman, the shining beauty of the shell, and the moment when it explodes into 1,000 white fragments, he wants us to see how sudden and violent anything can be now that the boys have barely anything to remind themselves of society and its rules. Moreover, the contrasts of both quotations show how beautiful one scene might be on the island and how unexpected and savage could be the next. So we've got this contrast forming. It's always nice to look for contrast in text because they're always there to be found. A contrast that's showing just how fragile that piece was all along. This tells that the boys have lost much control. After something explodes, it usually leaves consequences behind it, showing us that after the conch exploded, everyone was affected in some way, even if they didn't realise it just yet. So this is such a good answer because what it does is it really zooms in on this interesting word, exploded. It's not just said, here's a quote, and then goes on to talk about something else. It's really making us think, why do you think Golding did use the word exploded? Why is it such a dramatic word? Why is it relevant when the conch has gone? Well, the conch's explosion is a moment of violence, is a moment where something is lost forever. So another example, it's just one sentence, When Simon was killed, the boys ran off in fear and worry, but when Piggy was killed, Jack didn't care at all and instantly wanted to kill Ralph. So what Bob's done so well here is he's linked to other parts of the book. This is a really high-level skill that you can do in any English essay. You can be talking about how, oh, well, this moment in the book shows that the character is completely changed, or, wow, this reminds us of earlier in the book when the character did exactly the same thing, showing us just who they really are, and building up a sense of them. So you can always refer to different parts of the book. And then this one, furthermore, the conch explodes into 1,000 fragments at the same time as Piggy dies. He gets his head smashed open. This suggests that he is, like the conch, lovely punctuation here with the embedded clause that clarifies what he's talking about. This suggests that he is, like the conch, a significant symbol for a functioning society. Piggy dies, the conch dies, society dies. That was the bit that made me crack out the home run gif, in case you're wondering. Just really good use of the colon, this tricolon construction. Wow, wow, wow. Wonderful stuff, Nicholas. As Piggy's body vanishes and leaves no trace, it seems all hope is lost. As Piggy is the most civilized boy there, the centre of the peaceful society is gone. Such a nice way to summarise what is going on in the extract. There's no reason why you can't write with flair, even if it is analysis. Don't think that it always has to be really buttoned up. This is so good. A really great example to learn from. What I like about Noel's answer, well, I liked that he is making sure to think about the reader's impression. Ralph heard the great rock before he saw it. He wants to see that something bad is already occurring. We feel this way because we understand that Ralph must have been very alert to danger if he was listening out for dangers. So this is detail. It's thinking like, oh, what are we thinking when we read this? We're thinking, oh wow, Ralph must have been super scared at this moment because he's even listening out for stuff as well as looking around him. He's using all of his senses to try and stay safe. This gives the impression that if Piggy did the same, potentially in his case, he could have lived. Piggy couldn't hear it because of the claustrophobic noise. So we've said that the claustrophobic noise is part of the reason why Piggy ends up dying, which is sad. Okay, so just pause the video at this stage, go away, do your redraft, and then when you've finished, come back. Right, belatedly I got my elevator music, and we're back. So you've done a wonderful redraft. Now you're thinking, oh, I've still got a bit of the lesson left to twiddle my thumbs. Well, you don't have to twiddle your thumbs. Instead, I've got a bit of independent study to announce. The part you'll be doing today is you'll be reading the article. So I want you to read this article. It's really fantastic, all about the real Lord of the Flies. You might have come across it already because it got pretty some amazing attention when it was published in The Guardian a couple of weeks ago. So it's by a writer who's written a book, and in the book he is challenging the accepted idea that inside of us all is someone a little bit evil. He's challenging the idea that we all have a Nazi inside of us, as Golding thought, and so we have to be really serious about controlling ourselves and making sure that society is structured in a way that people's worst instincts are controlled, because otherwise we'll have sort of anarchy and it'll be terrible and the strongest will take over, just as happens in the book. Well, he suggests in his book that actually, when you look at lots of examples in human history, you can see that people are good inside, and instead we should be trying to make the most of this goodness rather than always acting from a position of fear to control people's worst instincts. Have a read of the article, see what you think, because it's based on a true story. It's all about, not based on a true story, it's about a true story of some boys who get caught on an island. So then summarise the article in the Google Doc that I'll attach, and then explain what do you think the similarities are and differences with the book story. This doesn't need to be long, just a few sentences on each. And then finally, do you think that we are hardwired with cruelty inside, or that we are naturally good when we are tested? So, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. This will tie up everything we've done with the book and allow us to move on to another topic. Okay, thank you very much, Year 7. Have a lovely day.